So that's all. So it's fine. So a loungy kind of. Was there a table in the middle, or were you sitting?
A little coffee table.
A little coffee table.
Yeah.
Was it this high, or was it?
No, it was literally
like a loungy.
four two-seaters around.
Okay.
And it was very casual. We did have a proper briefing room, which we could use, like when we got the 747, would come in, and we used to do that, all the big Airbus, more crew. But on just the Airbus 330 or the 767, which we operated, it's only, I can't remember now, 10 or 12 crew. So we all fitted around it, and it was just like very casual, sitting on the arms of the chairs, everyone's just, leaning on each other. Very friendly, casual environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the manager, what's the title?
CSM, Cabin Service Manager.
Cabin Service Manager does it.
Allocates you. If generally he or she would ask what you prefer, and it does go on seniority, and that's how it should do. It's quite regimented. So the most senior person gets to choose, down to which the least senior person just gets the dregs, which is normal. That's okay. Yeah, that's how it works. And as you stay there, you move up the ranks, and not the ranks. It's not ranks. It's your seniority. It's your start date. And if you are working with a bunch of people who was in your training class, which I was that day, it actually goes on your age.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was quite young, so I was generally the lowest of the thing for a long time.
Okay. And then, so that's, what you're doing, then
Yep.
it's, all right guys, we've got 5 minutes before we leave, have a coffee, whatever, have a shit, do whatever you need to do.
Pretty much. And because we're flying out of international, but the base is domestic, so you jump in a crew bus, and you drive through to the international terminal, and just step on board, or go through the same process, get through immigration, all the checks, which is time consuming, not long after 9/11 back then, so quite grueling, that sort of security check. Get on board, and I can't remember the time frame. It was quite a long time from us getting on board to boarding. I think it was about 40 minutes. So you go on and you check your catering, make sure everything's good, all your safety checks, safety security checks. Make sure everything's operational. Check your catering, because it's no point in getting halfway to Singapore and you realise you've only got 200 meals and there's 350 people on board.
Yeah.
So check all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and there's usually time for a coffee before the
actually on board?
Yeah.
Okay.
People usually, we used to assemble in business class before the punters come on and have a coffee and have a chat and a laugh, and then we get a notification from the gate, ready, everyone take positions at your doors pretty much.
Start the show.
Yeah.
On stage.
Yeah.
You called them punters, was that the standard?
Yeah.
Because when I was working in the ski resort, we called the tourists that came skiing punters as well.
Yeah.
So obviously in this idea of the character that he's an alcoholic, so he takes his bush truck with him in his hand luggage. Is that at all possible?
No, not really. Well, I guess. No, it's not possible, because don't forget, after 9/11, you're only restricted to, and it still is, 100 mils of gel or liquids.
So you would
not allowed.
As cabin crew, you'd undergo the same security
Absolutely.
checks.
Yeah. But I don't recall, maybe we did, I don't think we had bush trucks on board. We certainly had cans, but there's nothing stopping you. And we were allowed to take some alcohol off the aircraft with us to drink on the bus to the airport in Singapore. Yes, we were.
Okay.
And that wasn't sneaky or stealing, you were allowed to do it. Back then it was fine. Yeah.
Okay.
As a protocol of respect, you ask the captain. He always said yes, because he'd go, get me 6 as well,
yeah.
Or 4. I think that limit was 4.
Yeah.
But you always, most of the flight crew were ex-Air Force, and so aviation, even civil aviation, it's very regimented towards respect towards the captain, as they should be as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as inconceivable as it is, would it be possible for the character who worked at the airport to maybe have been working in security?
Oh yeah.
Instead of the car rental, and then gotten a job as a flight attendant, but he knows everybody in security.
I'm sure that's happened.
When he arrives with his bush trucks in his carry-on, he does a wink.
Yeah.
And they just, because he's worked in security, would that be reasonable?
Absolutely, I'm sure it's happened in the history of the world. That's 100%, and not bush trucks going through either.
Yeah. Okay. So then, because that would be the only way that we could have the character taking the bush chooks on
board, yeah,
is
from
he really knows
yes.
people in security well, and they go, oh, fine.
This guy again, yeah.
This guy
What's
again.
the Wednesday?
He needs it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we'd have to figure out a way that he gets the alcohol or the beers once he's gone through customs, which could also be a funny thing. You
could write it in like you get it from the duty free.
Somehow, yeah.
Which was not. A crew would. Well, usually we get on the way back because you don't want to take anything on board. You know, lug it around.
See, that would be too. You'd have to be too sneaky and have to. Oh, I really have to pee, and then.
Yeah.
And it would be too sus. But this is probably a better way. Okay. They're on board, and then the punters are coming, and then you're just doing your.
Standing at the door, rolling your eyes.
Checking people out.
You know.
Was there a lot of that? They look at the customer. He's hot. He's ugly.
Yeah.
She's revolting. She's beautiful. Oh no, more Chinese.
What's he doing with him, or what's he doing with her?
Okay.
From there,
Okay, so
100%.
as literally as far as if we can imagine it, you that classic judgment when people, well, you've done it,
and it's a total cross section mix match of the world, because we're Qantas, so we're generally just going to Singapore or Hong Kong out of Perth generally, but people were going on to London or Amsterdam or Rome or Johannesburg or in other parts of Asia. So you had Europeans, English, Asians, all businessmen, first time people on a plane, first time going to Singapore with a honeymoon, that sort of like Bogans or not so much Singapore because that was generally Bali, but we did fly there as well, and that was just horrendous.
So literally as well, each episode could have a different cliche of passenger. That.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting because then you have the whole world flies these days. Also everything.
Businessmen to unaccompanied
children,
teams, a 6-year-old boy or girl, whatever, or usually they're together. Sports people, drunk people, nervous flyers was fun as well. I like that. What was that? What was that? That's not normal.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right. So that leaves us open to all sorts of possibilities with the passengers as well. Now, as we ran through the questions earlier, you said your first duty you fucked up. Now,
correct.
This leads me to the actual. So the flight, I imagine you landed, and now we've got the post-flight thing, which is why we're covering this. So we're calling it Singapore Sling. And you ended up in the wrong bed.
I did.
Go drama.
Yeah, well, like I said, we can take booze off the plane, which was not forbidden. That's fine. Didn't have to, but we all did. So I got my 4 beers. I can't remember what they were. I don't think they were Bushels. We can say they were. So I smashed them on the way to the airport. On the way to the hotel. Got to this amazing, gorgeous hotel in Singapore. And then
just on the note, hold that for a second. Sorry. That's a good idea. That he drinks all his bush chook in the plane, and then when he
in the bus,
and then the bus, he just goes, "Oh, this is fucking gin's piss," and then whatever, go on there.
Yeah. So because there was quite a few people from my class, training class, on that flight, and I guess everyone, the other crew, and they were lovely. The crew were awesome. We're quite excited to show us. I've been to Singapore before, but show us around what they do and stuff. So everyone's, I think the manager was like, "Give you guys half an hour, go upstairs, have a shower, put your clothes on, get out of that crap, put this on, meet down here in half an hour." And and there's a mini bar, so you drink wine, and I was just so excited. And I think we used to get to Singapore about 2 PM, so it was quite early to start drinking in the humidity that you're not used to. And we used to go to this place called Chimes, which is right across the road from the hotel, and we had British Airways, American Airlines, and Qantas staying in our hotel, and across the road at the Carlton we had all the Emirates crew. So it all came together at this big place called Chimes, which is like a dugout, an open air dugout, massive courtyard with little tiny bars all the way around. But we just got this place called Gatsby, I remember it very well. And I was introduced to my first Singapore Sling, which is a very potent, delicious drink.
Can I just interrupt you there? Did all the crew go to Gatsby's, or all the flight attendants go to Gatsby's, or did American Airlines go there?
Well, it was just
Emirates there, and the Aussies there at Gatsby's.
I think the Qantas crew mostly went to Gatsby, but at the end of the night, you're jumping from table to table and getting to know people, different crew. Yeah, so, especially British Airways and Qantas, we kind of stuck together because we were one world.
We had that
alliance together.
So if Chimes. Yeah, it was a courtyard, and then there were little bars
all the way around, and it was massive. It was huge.
Okay. Yeah. And then the Gatsby's would be here, and then that's the first thing, the image that I had.
Yeah, exactly.
And then different names, different bars, and then flight attendants.
So it's different bars, right? But the tables weren't exclusive to the bars. You can sit wherever you want. So it's like a food court, but with alcohol. Yeah,
but with alcohol. Talk about a recipe for disaster.
And 90% only cabin crew and pilots. With 95% airline staff. What could go wrong?
Guaranteed. Like literally, let's design the perfect environment to completely create a situation where. Okay, well done. So, somebody bought you a Singapore sling.
Yeah.
Said, hello, young. You were 19.
I think it was 20, yeah.
You were
pretty
20.
young.
Yeah, so you're still, as much as you thought you were green. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was a seasoned drinker with beer, but not with that sort of crazy concoctions.
Cabin manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got blind. I got smashed.
Did you love them? Did you like them?
Yeah, they're delicious. And I ended up in this cabin manager's bed. There's nothing went on, I think, because I was so fucked that nothing actually, I don't think anything went on. I can't remember. But I remember waking up in the morning covered in spew, and he was as well, like in the bed. Too much, it's true though.
No, that's fine. Did you vomit on him, or did
all over me, and it was just all over everything.
But he didn't wake up?
No.
Was he that drunk as well?
Yeah, he was pretty drunk, yeah.
Did he vomit as well?
I can't remember, probably, I don't know. It was certainly me, I started it.
And he was, oh God, the visuals of that are going to be fantastic. Okay.
In this beautiful, the hotel was gorgeous. Massive king size bed with crisp white sheets, and everything's perfect. And Singapore's like that. Yeah. So,
what colour is a Singapore sling?
I can't remember. I think it's like a reddy maroony colour, isn't it? I can't remember, to be honest.
Do you remember what the vomit looked like?
Oh, no. I can maybe go through my photos.
Okay, so that's probably a bit of a blur as the night wore on. Found somebody. Did you know if more people helped you to the room, or did you make it there on your own?
I can't remember, but I was so sick. I was still sick, like alcohol poisoning sick.
You're alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah, sick. Definitely. They called the Qantas doctor, because in every port we had a doctor that would contract to us and come and see. And so I removed myself to my room, and he came and saw me, and I said I had gastro, but I'm not sure if he was onto it or not. And I think we were due to fly out on 78 that night. Would have been about 10 o'clock sign-on PM, and I wasn't up for it. Mm-mm.
You were just still poisoned.
Yeah.
Just to rewind, the cabin manager, the service manager, was the one that got you drunk, and then you slept in his bed.
Yes.
So he's sort of, on the one hand, he was being responsible, because making sure you were safe. But on the other hand,
I'm sure that was what he was thinking. Yeah.
But on the other hand, he was being very irresponsible, getting you that drunk on your first
and blackout drunk and having me in his bed. Yeah.
And having you in his bed.
A young little 20-year-old flight attendant, first flight. Yeah.
That's very questionable.
That's good. Yeah.
What about if we took a bit of creative liberty in this, that he wakes up first?
He goes,
what the fuck? And then he looks at you, and and the character appears to be dead.
Okay, well, I probably did. Yeah.
I killed Jono.
First flight.
Doctor Jones.
Dr. Yap.
Yap.
Well, it was Singaporean.
Oh, it wasn't really.
Dr. Jones. This is an aqua, is it?
Oh no, you're Jono. You're Jono. No, you're
Dr. Jones is the aqua song.
Is it?
Dr. Jones. Oh, come on. Don't pretend like it.
Dr. Yak.
Dr. Yak.
That could be, and then Dr. Yak. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Wake up! You're alcoholic! You're not he. What you give? Singapore sleep. Oh, motherfucker! We get arrested for this, but...
Oh no, don't put this on Facebook, Jesus Christ.
No, but that's comedy gold. And then, of course, that's like a scene out of Seven. I don't know whether you watched the film Seven. No. With anyway, where one of the characters that the serial killer kills, he kills him over the course of a year, ties him to a bed, and only gives him enough food to sustain basic function, but for the rest, the guy is tied to a bed.
Like a misery kind of.
Defecates on himself. For a year long, it takes him a year to die. And the police burst in and discover him lying there, and they think he's dead. And then, as they're looking closer, he goes, "Oh!" and they fucking shit themselves. And it's a terrifying moment in this film. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt. It's a wonderful film. But creatively, I'm thinking to replicate that exact scene.
Yeah.
But with vomit, with John O'Davies lying there, barely breathing, and then Dr. Yap. Oh. Don't go high. He no go. Yeah, he dead. Yeah, you killed him. And then he. Anyway. All right. So then you wake up.
Yeah.
Do you speak to the manager and?
I can't remember. I think the manager is in charge of everything when we're up line, it's called. And I think I went down for sign on, and I wore my uniform anyway, thinking I can't operate. God no. I was actually sick. I was ill.
Yeah.
And then so I was informed that I was not operating. I was passengering. And then on the way to the airport, I think he must have got an email or something, but the aircraft was downgraded from a big Airbus to a 767. And I think an Airbus had, about 10 or 12 crew. That's what we had as our contingent. But the 767, I think, only had about 8. So that was a good thing, meaning that we didn't need the whole crew contingent. Some of us could pax, but weirdly, the rule was so weird. The most junior person paxed.
Yes.
Anyway, but I had to pax anyway, right? I never said the name there. This guy that should have paxed instead of me had to operate, and I had to pax because I was paxing anyway. Yeah. But I got on those planes, business class, and I remember this guy was the same guy as I was telling you about before, was on the flight, and he was so dirty on me, and he served me in business class, of course, and I'm sitting there with my feet up in the big bed, you know, he knows what happened, he knows I was pissed, I wasn't sick, he was there, yeah, he was so dirty on me that he had to fly, he had to operate, and I was laying back in the big bed and, you know, eating great food.
It's sort of like a poetic justice in there.
I didn't dare ring my bell, God no. Well, yeah.
Served by the guy that judged you and thought you weren't fit to be a flight attendant?
Yes, because I'm a bogan mess.
You proved to him that you weren't
the first flight.
You weren't fit to be a flight attendant.
Straight away.
But how do you get rewarded?
I get to fly home in business class.
Business class, you get to be served by the guy that's judging you.
It's true, man, it's true.
And then you get away with it.
Yeah, I got totally away with it. Yeah. No one said a word.
Nobody said a word. Oh, he had gastro, bad luck. We didn't need him anyway.
Yeah, and the thing, it turns out we didn't need the whole crew anyway.
Because of the smaller plane.
Aircraft downgrade.
So, what were the names of the aircraft? I probably would have heard them, but for some reason...
The aircraft types?
Yeah.
A330, Airbus A330.
So, you were due to crew Airbus...
That's A330, which is a big A330.
30?
Yeah, which is a big one. And then
it was downgraded
to a 767, which isn't a small plane either, but smaller than that one.
767.
Still a big plane, but yeah.
So you had extra crew,
surplus crew. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's called, you describe it as surplus crew. Okay, because when we get down to actually writing some of the jargony bits, like
just let me know,
you need to be exactly the right word.
Yeah.
Because I can see an audience for this is flight attendants. Initially, Qantas, flight attendants liking it, and then potentially other carriers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then if it's funny enough, and well made enough, and the jokes are good. Because what I'm thinking, if we do get funding, I don't trust myself to write this, but maybe if we get funding, we have a lot of money, hire a writer and say, look, I'm going to pay you for 2 months.
Yeah.
this is your fee, whatever it is, out of the funding, and you write.
Yeah.
And then we just knock out 12 episodes. He's got 2 months to knock out 12 episodes. You provide the framework, and Belinda and I provide also more input and structure, and then that's if we get funding. Otherwise, it's going to be the three of us, Belinda, you and me, just writing scripts and stuff. So you land. How did you feel? You must have had like mixed emotions. Like that was awesome.
Well, I was still drunk.
How long is the flight?
It's only 4 hours 50.
It's only 4 hours 50, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you were still drunk. You thought, oh, that was all right.
Have a champagne, please.
Okay, so you weren't really. In other words, you weren't really thinking either direction.
No, I didn't really care, to be honest. I didn't care. Yeah, I cared because I wanted to be. It turns out I only flew for a few years, but I thought this is going to be me forever.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to, fuck it up or make a bad name for myself. But I didn't.
So that's an interesting thing. So then you just went through the motions of leaving the plane, disembarking, collecting your
drove myself home,
driving
still
yourself
pissed.
home, still pissed.
With my shirt unbuttoned, and when you pack, you can't wear uniform. You keep I wore my blazer and my shirt, my pants, but no badging or tie. That doesn't identify with being Hamburg.
Yeah. And you obviously in this situation you came home to a partner who was at home.
Yeah. Would have been asleep in bed.
Oh yeah, what time did you return?
Oh, because QF78 landed at 1, so it would have been
1 in the morning.
Yeah. I would have been about 2:30 in the morning. Would have crawled in next to my partner. Finally.
Okay, I think John was not going to have a partner.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to. I was just thinking aloud about how we could, what kind of moral.
Yeah, because I don't want my ex seeing this.
I've got this funny now. This okay, there's that.
Yeah.
And then, but also now we've got a tie-in for the Sage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where are you headed? Oh, Singapore.
Oh. Well, that was for months later. I walk into the crew and everyone's going, like Singapore again. We got so many Singapores, like 2 or 3 times a week. That's mostly what we did out of Perth. Yeah, mostly.
So the Sage can say something along the lines of about. Or
coming to Gatsby's tonight? No.
I've been to Singapore. Yes. Well, I don't know. Come up with something funny. Never been so drunk in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So watch out there. Oh yeah, right, Rick. And off Rick. I don't know. And then we rounded up some moral about just. Do we need a moral? It's got to be. As I said, we've got to leave people happier, but we also need to have something. And maybe, the serious bit is, guys, alcohol, cocktails. People be careful somehow. Well, that's the story, and there's lots. You'll be surprised how much information.
Oh, so much, yeah.
And then we can,
that's pretty much a movie.
Well, it could be, Singapore Sling could be broken into segments, but because I don't think there's a lot going on. Unless you want to write a feature film, Belinda? Any thoughts, worries, or concerns? Is there anything you want to avoid?
Yeah, being caught up by my ex cheating on him. So don't post this anywhere, please.
You didn't, did you?
I don't know. I can't remember. Honestly, can't. I'm not saying yes or no because I don't know.
No, fair enough. I think
I wasn't against it. I don't think. I wasn't.
We could have an attempted sexual encounter, but that you just fall down drunk.
Yeah, well, that's happened before too. Fall asleep halfway through.
Or you don't even get your gear on.
Yeah.
Or even kiss. It's like.
Yeah. That's happened as well. Yeah.
We have plenty of episodes coming up.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Yeah, that might be a nicer way to introduce the character for the first one, no sexual hijinks, just...
Too drunk.
And that can come in, you can have some actual sexual hijinks.
It was waking up in my own bed without that whole thing clouding it. It's bad enough, or funny enough.
Okay. So, will this story, your ex-partner, will he see that and go...
Not without that manager's bed bit? No, he won't care. He knew about it. He knew what happened, except for that bit, yeah.
Well, we will work this out as time goes on, whether you want your name attached to this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because if you don't want him knowing about that.
No, look, I don't care now. We haven't been together for 10 years. Couldn't give two shits. But I'd rather that not be in it, like with me attached to it anyway. Yeah. It's probably an unnecessary, immoral shadow it anyway. Yeah.
Because we want to introduce the character definitely as an alcoholic, and he's naturally gay. We'll be able to show that. But this is already enough of a misjudgment.
Yeah.
Right?
But don't forget, this guy was 20, not 40.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a much
younger
younger
literally
character.
20 years ago.
20 years. So Jono is going to start as a really young. Well, maybe we have to make him a little bit older to have had a career before. We'll play with that, what works best. And like I said, the getting this drunk is really enough of a misjudgment. Then we also have to add on a sex thing at this stage.
No,
we don't.
Not. Yeah.
No. And then later
There's
on.
enough in the future.
How old were you when you no longer were with your? How old were you no longer with your partner?
10 years ago, I would have been 30.
You were 30. Okay. Well. All right. Because I take it you had indiscretions before you officially broke up. Through flight attending.
A little bit. Not too much, to be honest. Because I actually wasn't out at Qantas because I couldn't be bothered with the bullshit.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be out immediately.
Yeah. Whatever.
In this series, he'll be not screaming it, but in a way that because he's found himself.
That's kind of the way I was anyway. Like I didn't like deliberately get myself in the way of these other cabin crew because they were not my type for starters, and they were a pain in the ass, so to speak.
So we'll dance around that with each idea of an episode to protect your feelings of yourself and your partner about those indiscretions, if you're still worried about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're friends, and I don't want to ruin that.
But have you talked about that period? You've not.
No.
Is he naive? Does he think?
I know he did the same thing, and I guess if we don't talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. I know that he did similar stuff as well, so. Yeah.
Okay. So, look, this is really early to be worrying about this.
Yeah.
Let's write them first, and then
we can go through it. Yeah.
If it becomes a thing, even, that's when you say, all right, and then break it to him then, and I'm sure he won't begrudge you something like that.
He didn't go to a room every night and read the Bible, for God's sake. He knows I'm pissed around the world with a bunch of gay guys or, even girls. It's funny, it's fun as well. Yeah.
Yep, one is two.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be gentle with that. Any other thoughts or?
Not really, no.
And there weren't any consequences, were there?
No. I was already junior as hell anyway, so they couldn't
get more junior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and they thought you had gastro. That would have been recorded as the reason.
Yeah.
Well, you were paxing anyway, so that.
Well, we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that before. We called the doctor.
Because then you could have just said, "Well, I don't need to."
Read the wave and gone, "No worries, it's fine. I'm not operating." So
you almost caused your own